are you? I don't even know what day of the week it is, but the Lord woke me up before my alarm went off at 4:30 this morning, and I just have a fresh energy from Him that I'm just super thankful. But I wanted to share a little bit from my reading this morning. So some miracles in the mess this morning, in praying that God is just going to show you some things too. But I definitely don't think that there's any mistake in me sharing, because as I was reading this verse, and you're going to maybe recognize the verse as I read through it, but then my bookmark is the exact same verse, and it says, I am the vine and you are the branches. So I was reading it, I thought, I think you need to hear this. I think you need to hear this. So, as I'm following my calendar, I opened it up this morning, and this is our affirmation. I laugh without fear of the future. I laugh without fear of the future. I don't know when the last time you woke up laughing with this peace and with this joy and without fear, but I have a feeling that most of us, it's not been very often. But God's reminding us that that's how He's called us to live, to wake up and laugh without fear of our future. And that does not mean that we're not going to have hardship. That does not mean that there's going to be things that are not hard, that are not challenging us. It doesn't mean that people are always going to be kind. It doesn't mean that we're never going to feel rejected, or never going to feel like we're alone. That's never the promise. But what God says is, because of what I've taught you in the Word, you should be able to laugh without fear of the future. And everything that's going on in the world right now creates a lot of uncertainty. And I just am praising God every single day, because He's prepared me for this 2 years ago when I left healthcare, the world of stability, the world of the known. He asked me to step away, and it was one of the hardest decisions I had ever made. But because of that, these last 2 years, I have literally had to wake up every day and proclaim His truth and live without fear, because that meant that there was a lot of uncertainty in my life these last 2 years. Uncertainty of finances, uncertainty within my marriage, uncertainty of how God was going to use me. You guys, this is still going on today in my home and in my life. There's still it's really easy for me to go into this place of uncertainty. So I can relate to every single person who has lost their job, who has really struggled in their marriage, who has really struggled with their finances, because you guys, that's the journey that I've been on. But God commands us in Proverbs 31:25. He says, she is clothed. I want to flip the phone, and I want you to see what I'm seeing in His Word this morning. Okay, sorry. Why? There it goes. Oh, sorry. I didn't want to, it was really blurry. So I laugh without fear of the future. And this is what it says. It says strength and dignity. Strength and dignity. This is worthy of honor and respect. So these are her clothing. So she is wearing clothing that represents her being worthy of honor and respect. That is how she views herself, because that's how God views her. That doesn't mean that we walk around with a chip on our shoulder. That doesn't mean that we are demanding respect from anyone. No, that is the way that that's our posture as we carry ourselves throughout our day, that we are worthy of honor and we are worthy of respect, because that's how God views us. We are also wearing strength. So when we walk around every day, we wear this strength in us that only comes from the Lord. So I firmly believe that when people look at us as daughters of the Most High King, that they should look at us and see something different. They should look at us and say, there's something different about her. It's not her outward appearance. It's not this outward beauty, but this internal strength and this internal dignity. And then it says, and her position is strong and secure. So that tells us that God says no matter what, I want you to present yourself every single day as strong and secure. So even though we don't feel it, you guys, this is not about what's going on. This is not about everything always being perfect and good in our lives, because I am here to tell you that is definitely not true in my own life. But this means that God says you have to carry yourself differently. Your posture has to be different under all of this pressure because of your faith, because of your trust in me. And then it says, and she smiles at the future, knowing that she and her family are prepared. Because the thing is that it doesn't mean that we're prepared financially 100%, but it does mean that we're taking care of our finances. It does mean that we're being diligent. It doesn't mean that our marriage is going to be absolutely blissful every single day, but it says, and you know what? But I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to do what I'm being asked to do to honor my husband. I'm going to do what I'm being asked to do to be loving. We're being prepared. And that means that we're living out our faith. It doesn't mean that it's going to be perfect. It doesn't mean that everything's going to go great. And you guys may be having a lot of struggles within your home. But God says if you're being prepared, if you're doing what my word says, then you can have a different posture. You can have a posture of strength and dignity. You can be known for your strength and known for your dignity. And so the next thing is, how do we do this? How do we do this? So if you're thinking, well, that's great, Chanel, like I want to be that woman. I want to be that. And I know a lot of people are frustrated by Proverbs 31 women, but this is obviously unobtainable in our own strength. This is not possible in our own strength. And so God is saying, sister, daughter, I love you so much, and I want you to be so firm in your faith and so trusting of me that you present yourself with a strong spirit, with a dignified spirit. That's what he's saying, but you can't do it without me. So how do we do this? So the next verse, you guys, is John 15:1-4, and it says, I am the vine and you are the branches. So that means the only way that we can have strength in the storm, the only way we can have peace and calmness in the storm and in uncertainty, is if we are attached to the vine. We are his branches, and we bear the fruit of peace. We bear the fruit of strength, but it's not within ourselves. It's not something that we should never have pressure to be super strong and to have all these qualities. That's not how this works. We can have strength. We can have peace. We can have the fruits of the Spirit only if we're connected to the vine. He is the vine and we are the branches. And I think about the vines of a grape. There's so many different fruits, but if you think about the vine of a grape, and it has to be attached to that vine. I don't know how many times we bought grapes from the store, and they're great when you get them from the store because they're freshly picked and put out at the store. But then when you bring them home, it doesn't take but a matter of a few days, and all of a sudden they start becoming like rubbery and squishy, and then they'll get moldy. Like they're not attached to the vine anymore, so they're not as fruitful. They're not as tasty. They don't look as good. And it's the same thing, you guys, in our own life. We're not going to be able to withstand the storm. We're not going to be able to withstand these circumstances if we are not connected to the vine. So how can we laugh at what is going on and laugh at fear and say, I'm not afraid of my future. I'm not afraid of what's going on. How can we do that? We have to be attached to the vine. And if you're finding yourself getting overwhelmed, anytime I'm finding myself getting overwhelmed or frustrated, or I'm feeling oppressed, like there's a spirit of depression that's hovering over me, it's usually because I'm not spending enough time with the Lord. I'm not sitting and listening to what he has to say to encourage me. I'm not looking around at my kids or my husband or other things in my life to encourage me. All I'm doing is sitting down and wallowing in what I can't do. I'm only focusing on what I can't control. So instead of focusing on what I can control, which is making sure I'm getting in the Word, making sure I'm connected, I'm rooted in the vine with Jesus, I'm focusing on the negative. And so every time it's going to overtake us, you guys, every single time. And the devil is being intentional. I don't know if you figured it out, but he's being super intentional about how to keep you underwater. That's what he's trying to do. But you see, God's calling us into the waves. He knows what's going to happen. He knows that the waves are going to crush over us. He knows that there's a chance to sink. there's a chance to sink. But if we are connected to him, we can say, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I have no fear. I'm going to laugh at what's going on. And I don't know about you, but that's the kind of woman that I want to be. I want to truly laugh at the devil when he comes to try to taunt me, when he tries to use people, when he tries to use my husband, when he tries to use circumstances to get me down. I want to laugh at him. I want to laugh at him. That's the kind of woman I want to become. And so I want to encourage you. The main thing I want to encourage you in, you guys, is this. I don't know if you can see it. It says, I am the vine and you are the branches. Apart from the Lord, apart from being connected to him, we can do nothing. We cannot have peace. We cannot laugh at fear. We cannot get through the circumstances and the trials with a positive presence. We cannot get through any of this stuff without him, without being connected to the vine. And so I want to encourage you in that. If you're not spending time with the Lord, if you don't have my book and you need just something simple to get started, you guys, you got to do it. No matter what, we've got to do this. So be encouraged. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much. Thank you so much for who you are. Thank you so much for reminding us that we truly can take a different position. We can take a different posture when we're under these pressures, God, but we cannot do it without you. God, thank you for that reminder of the vine and the branches. God, I just love that analogy. I love that you truly are creating this beautiful fruit that others enjoy, that others benefit from, but only through you. We can only do that through you, God. And so thank you for that reminder, God. I just love you, and I just ask that you would pull on every heartstring that has not been spending time with you, God, that is trying to figure out everything and do everything on their own, God. Just remind them, God, and give them this just divine, this extra powerful, just longing and this desire to spend some more time with you, God, and just help them do that. Help them carve out that time. Help them with the discipline to do that. We love you and we thank you in your precious name. Amen.